You're listening to Radio Domas.
Radio Domas 99.9 FM.
Na barabara kabisa msikilizaji, karibu katika makala ya 10 ama the 10th episode ya Voices Unchained. Kumbuka tumekuwa na makala 9 na kumbuka Voices Unchained ni makala ambayo inakupa wewe kijana pale mtaani ama kijana popote pale ambapo ulipo nafasi ya kuweza kuzungumzia maswala yako ambayo yanakuhusu kwa sana. Kumbuka we are enhancing young voices katika we are enhancing young voices beyond news headlines. Kwa hivyo shukran sana na karibu katika makala haya ya 10. Katika wiki hii msikilizaji, tunaangazia ni jinsi gani tunaweza kutumia uwezo na nguvu wa vijana ili kupata maendeleo ya muda mrefu katika jamii. Kwa hivyo karibu sana, unaweza kuzungumza nami kupitia nambari ya simu ya 0788200145 ambako unaweza toa maoni yako ama unaweza kuchangia mjadala ambao utakuwa unaendelea siku ya leo. Katika makala haya ya 10 tutakuwa tunaangazia ni jinsi gani ambayo tunaweza kuiwezesha ama kuempower jamii through skill development, through kuweza job creation na kuifanya jamii ihisi kwamba pia inahusika katika maendeleo ambayo inawahusu. Ni jinsi gani pia tutakuwa tunaangalia mwishoni mwa show hii, pia tutakuwa tunaangazia ni jinsi gani ambavyo tutahakikisha kwamba tunaweza kuleta ile ambayo tunaita impact katika jamii yetu, kwa kuwezesha vijana kupitia ujasiriamali ama tunaita entrepreneurship katika jamii. Kwa hivyo karibu sana katika makala haya, na natumai mwishoni wa makala haya utakuwa umeweza kuelimika zaidi. Wageni wangu siku ya leo washaasili ama tuko nao studioni kwa tayari. Tunaye Jeff Obiero ambaye ni IT specialist, na pia anaweza kufanya ile training kuhusu masuala ya kompyuta, na pia ni kiongozi wa vijana na pia ni mwanaharakati wa kisiasa. Pia tunaye Phyllis Mwambu ambaye she is a social entrepreneur, ni mwana mazingira, ni educator, she is a youth leader na pia ni mkurugenzi wa shirika la mazingira la greening kwetu, shirika la mazingira la greening kwetu. Kwa hivyo karibu sana msikilizaji, kumbuka maoni yako ni muhimu sana, na unahitajika ama unahitajika zaidi kuweza kutoa maoni yako. Kumbuka pia show hii ya Voices Unchained inaletewa kwako kwa hisani ya Radio Domas FM pamoja na Hivos East Africa. Kwa hivyo karibu sana kwenye makala haya ili tukaweze kusemezana zaidi. Moja kwa moja tutakuwa tunaingia katika mjadala wetu. Nitaanza labda na bwana Jeff. Wakati ambapo tunazungumzia social entrepreneurship, ni a very important tool wakati ambapo tunaitumia ama wakati ambapo tunasema tunahitaji ile development both individual na pia development ya jamii. Ni jinsi gani ambavyo tunaweza kuhakikisha kwamba tunahakikisha kwamba vijana wanakuwa engaged in social entrepreneurship?
Thank you very much. I think as the youth of the society, we need to get to adjust based on the trends that are coming up, because of things have really changed. How the economy is doing and how the youth should go about it. So the first thing I would say there is that you see our youths have been socialized well. That is under primary socialization. But again, as they grow up, we need to reinforce certain areas so that they can play an important role in building our economy. Number one, our youths have attained a good education, but the little aspect that we need to add or tap into is to encourage them to join entrepreneurship and stop the traditional belief that after school they gain employment in other areas. So we need to do a lot at this stage to ensure that all the youths are believing in themselves and getting to start and joining hands together to do something to earn a living.
Phil, is when we are talking about social entrepreneurship, there are so many areas that these tackles, there are so many areas ambayo tunaweza kutap in. Kwa mfano kuna areas kama education, healthcare, agriculture na environment, especially kwa sababu wewe pia ni mwana mazingira. Wakati ambapo tunazungumzia environment, there are so many areas to tap in. How can the youth invest especially in the environment sector kuhakikisha kwamba they engage in social entrepreneurship and they create solutions to problem facing us? Kwanza, just start by telling us what environmental problems do we have?
Asante sana Makolo. Ni furaha yangu sana kubwa sana kuwa hapa leo. Na ningependa kusema emphasize on what Jeff said. Alisema vijana tunapenda we are trained in such a way that by the time tunamaliza shule we are thinking nani ataniajiri kazi, hakuna makazi. Tuna vijana wengi wameketi sana mitaani hapa Ngong. Ukienda, I'm sure you can count up to 100 young people wamezubaa tu kwa barabara wanalia serikali tupatie kazi.
Actually more than 100 ukianzia hapa hivi.
Wengi sana. So ni muhimu sana vijana wachukue ile effort na wajipatie ile motisha ya kusolve problems zenye ziko around them. Look around you. Ukitembea hivi kuna takataka njiani. What can you do to make sure you're living in a clean environment and at the same time make money from that? Kajiado tunajulikana kwamba it's a semi-arid county. Na huku hatufanyi ukulima. Most of the people living in Kajiado County are pastoralists. Ukiangalia there's a lot of problems you can come in and solve as youth. Instead of waiting for someone to come and akuajiri, what skills can you have? Uhakikishe hizo skills unasolve nayo problems mtaani. And that's what I did. When I graduated from the University of Nairobi, sikuwa na kazi. Na kama kijana, nilikuwa hata mimi nataka kuemployiwa. So I was writing CVs, sending them to different organizations. But niliporealize watu wanipigia simu back, nikajiuliza, najua vijana wengi sana mitaani wa makaa, hawana pesa. Tunawezaje ungana kama vijana tufanye kitu ambacho itatubenefit sisi kama vijana na kubenefit pia community yetu. Hapo ndo nikapata idea ya social entrepreneurship, ama ukipenda kwa Kiswahili ujasiriamali wa kijamii. Nikaangalia one of the problems we face in Kajiado County is drought and food insecurity. How can we come in as youth and solve this problem? We can begin doing climate education to people so that people can start incorporating small actions like ukiona maji na run kwa tap, try to conserve that water. Ukiona kule nje hakuna mvua, tupande miti. So that is where I got the idea of coming up with the organization of Green Equator Foundation, na nikashikana mikono na vijana jirani zangu na tukaanza kupanda miti, tukaanza kuzunguka mashule tukifunza vijana umuhimu wa kutunza mazingira, umuhimu wa kupanda miti na kuconserve our environment. Thank you.
Jeff, one of the things that tumekuwa tukilia ama tumekuwa tukisema it's not met ni making sure that our institutions zina equip vijana na skills. Kijana kitoka pale isikuwe tu nilisoma nikapita mtihani, nilisoma they come out with skills. So tumesema it's one of the things ambayo CBC ina solve, but one of the skills ambayo it can be very important ama inaweza kuwa muhimu sana kuhakikisha kwamba we solving this problem ya vijana kutaka zile white collar jobs ni IT. na wewe kama an IT specialist, how can we tunaweza tumia vijana vipi kwa equip na IT skills ili kuhakikisha kwamba we are solving the problems that are affecting our communities?
Asante sana Bwana Makolo. Focusing on our youth and how the process of getting secondary socialization is taking place in our country today, you realize that quite a number of youth are well equipped with skills, but they are still suffering from the belief that they need to go somewhere where they get employed. So we need to regain our power as the youth and stop believing in the so-called bourgeoisies to be creating jobs for us, and then we get to be employed. So I would advocate for the youth to believe in themselves. They can come up together as groups, and then they identify a venture that they can have a breakthrough in. But for them to have this to be effective, what we believe that the youths attained when they were in schools or colleges or universities, we believe that our youths ought to have come out of these colleges with the necessary leadership skills, risk-taking ability, and being creative around the skills that they attained. And if you look at it in a different perspective, you realize that there's some of a section of the society who lack a bit of these skills, which they can utilize to gain or to join entrepreneurship. So these people need to get settled and acquire some basic training to give them what they can do on a daily basis. Like for example, in my case, in our field, I'm an IT specialist. If I look at a Form 4 leaver or somebody who dropped out of school, these people are very useful in our economy. And the culture that has been built around people who did not maybe qualify to join the university is what is killing our economy. Any young person can do something to help us propel the economy. If you are maybe a Form 4 leaver, you can acquire the basic ICT skills that can enable you do online business, that is online marketing, online writing, among other things. So it's only what we need to fight, or we need to demystify, is the belief that is outside there, that everyone who did not qualify to be having a hold of a degree or something is actually not able to participate constructively in building our economy.
Wakati ambapo pia tunazungumzia when we're talking about social entrepreneurship, vijana wengi, most of the youth feel tunakuanga na idea kwamba when I start something it should pay off immediately. Nafaa nikianza, wakati nimeanzisha shirika la greening kwetu, nafaa kuanza ku earn immediately. What we're not putting in mind is that some things zinataka consistency, zinataka getting connection, zinahitaji collaboration. How important is especially consistency and collaboration when we engage, wakati ambapo we are engaging in such activities ama in social entrepreneurship? Consistency and collaboration and looking for networks, how important are they?
Thank you so much for that question. One thing about us youth, we like quick rewards. You want to start a business, within 3 to 6 months, you want to start counting those returns. And that was one of the major challenges I was facing as the founder of Green Equity Foundation. I wanted to work with youth, and there were so many youth available. But you find that youth are asking the questions, why should I join it? What's in it for me? Yeah, Utapata nini? Unaita vijana twende tupande miti and let's educate the community about climate change and what that means and how it's connected to food insecurity. Mtu anakuambia sina fare or kuna food nini. So vijana wanataka very quick rewards. And when you find someone who has such a mindset, ni ngumu sana mwende mbali na yeye. Because once you start an organization or a social entrepreneurship, one thing you need is patience. It's like you've given birth to a child, and when a child is born, they don't start walking immediately. They need to learn how to crawl, learn how to stand, and it takes time. So you need passion, number one. You need someone who has passion for change. Is this someone a change maker? Are they willing to put in the work for the next year or two until we start reaping the fruits? So you need passion, number one. Number two, you need commitment. You need before anything, hata mti kabla ianze kuzaa matunda, lazima ikue with the strong stems, lazima izae majani. So ukianza I've told you I have an organization called Green Equator Foundation. We're focusing on environmental conservation. You come in, we do project number 1, we do project number 2. Hujapata kitu kwa mfuko, you exit the group. That is the experience that I've had. So luckily for me, I have the passion, I have the drive, I know what I'm doing. So hata nisipopata support, I know where I'm going. So vijana ningependa kusisitiza sana, hakuna vitu za quick rewards. By the time money comes in your pocket, you need to work for it. I meet people and then they start telling me, I can join you, but what am I going to get at the end of the month? So let's work with commitment, passion, and that you need to want to see change. Why do you want to be part of us? Are you a change maker, or you want to be part of us because you want to reap the benefits? So before tufike mahali pa kupanda matunda, ningependa kuona vijana wakifanya kazi. So vijana, let's stop that. I've lost so many youth from my organization because they joined me with at the back of their mind thinking, I'm going to get money from this. And that has not happened. So the people who are going to stick around, and actually sometimes you have to get in your pocket to facilitate a project, because not all the time you're receiving grants from donors. So nikikwambia I need 3,000 from you so that we can facilitate a project, you need to be in a position where you can do that, and because we're looking at the long-term benefits of this. So let's be patient, let's have passion for change making and commit ourselves to change. Thank you.
Na 0788200145 ndio nambari yangu ya mawasiliano, ama pia unaweza tupata kupitia mitandao ya kijamii @RadioDomasFM kwenye Facebook, kwenye X na kwenye Instagram, ili ukazidi kuchangia mjadala. Namuona Victoria anasema nakubaliana na Phyllis, because most youth just want quick money, and that's why we engage in things like betting and online scams on the thought that we'll get money so quickly. Just a short while, ama kwa ufupi tu, labda, do you think that desire for quick money na drive vijana into in the hands of conmen na watu kama wale tunaona some of them online dating kutafuta the rich ones?
Exactly, that's very true. As a lady especially, I've had several stories where women have been conned online. And the thing about con men, wanakuanga very innovative. Every day they have new tactics of getting people. And sai wanatumia mitandao kama Instagram, Facebook to get to people. So someone comes and tells you, invest $100 and you'll get $1,000. Invest $500, you'll get $5,000. Mwingine anakuambia, I think the most common type of conning right now in Nairobi is forex trading,
Where
you the being lied to that when you invest $50, when you invest $100, within 24 hours you're going to get $1,000. Na hakuna kitu ya free, na you have to work hard for money. So vijana ndo maana tunapotea sana na kukoniwa, tuna invest in fake things, and people are taking advantage of us. So there's a lot of patience, there's a lot of hard work that needs to come in. Like Newton said, there's a force of action and reaction. What you give is what you get. What you reap is what you sow. Yeah.
Jeff, wamekuwa innovative, so innovative. In your area maybe ushaipata mtu anajaribu kukukon because wamekuwa janja hadi wanaenda in specific areas. Unajua Jeff anafanya mambo na computer na IT. They come wanamwambia Jeff, ukitufanyia hivi kwa IT ama ukifanya hivi labda we will double your stake. Have you made such things?
Yeah, a number of things are happening in our society. But you see, that confirms to us one thing. That as we grow up, we need to identify our path as early as possible. As a very young kid, we should know that my line is IT. My line is business. So as you exit the secondary socialization or after school, you need to get to settle down and do something that will make you progress in life consistently until you get to see the fruits of your investment. As my colleague was saying, not only young youth suffer these problems, it includes even the graduates. Today, if you employ a graduate, because I've interacted with quite a number of them, you employ a graduate today to do certain work here. They're busy looking for another green pasture somewhere to do something that they even lack the experience at. And eventually, they go to the new field, they return again to where they started. So that inconsistency is eating into their time until now they realize so late that they have made for themselves very little. And then that is what will now inform the weird things like engaging in conning people online. And you know, for you to con people online, it means that you are somebody who is good upstairs. You are actually having you are knowledgeable. You need to, you can direct that to do something constructive for yourself and eventually to help participate in building economy. So I would advocate for people to get to stick to their path of career as early as possible. As a very young person, you need to know that I am in business. As you go through school and all that, when you exit, focus on that. If you do something consistently for a period of time, you must see the results. And again, for those who are doing business, business does not mean that you are going to make profit. Business means that you will be experiencing the ups and downs and getting to learn and how to manage it as you go through it.
Okay, tulia tu hapo kwa business. We were talking about business. Business, watu wanasema kwamba business is more squeeze, ama unapata squeeze mtu umepata shilingi zako 20,000 ama 10,000. Your first thing, nataka nifungue biz. You know, that's what the youth do. Haujafikiria ni business gani? Why am I starting this business? Mbona na feel biashara itawakapa? Do you think that it's high time for the youth, wakati kabla you start a business or you start something, you first of all look at the unmet needs. Ni needs gani? What does the society need? What problem am I solving? Kwa sababu nitafungua hoteli kwa sababu niko na pesa. Then you tell it's sina management skills, I don't know how to handle those who are working for me, sijui ku delegate duties. Do you think it's high time pia wakati ambapo tunasema we just telling the youth fungua biz, do you think pia it's high time we educate the youth, tuambie wakati unafungua biashara, look at this, look at the unmet needs? Do you think it's a gap that has not been met in the society?
Actually, when I discussed earlier, I indicated that the dynamics in our economy is questioning how we have been socialized, because we have been socialized well in all aspects, but now the current trends in economy requires additional socialization that has to take place at the basic, at the primary level of socialization at home. So as a child, as a student, we need to be socialized to know what to do. Like, for example, if you try to check what the CBC people are trying to mirror, actually they're trying to mirror what happens in the international curriculum. So that a young person knows that I can grow tomatoes, and these tomatoes would be taken to the market, and then I would be able to get something. So it should not come as a shock, as now a youth who is exiting college is when you are now for the first time you want to think of how to do something. And for you to do something like a business, you need to have ideas which are experimented. Just like as a young kid tries to start walking, they will be struggling to walk, they fall, they come back, until now they walk perfectly. So it's not obvious that you put a business idea, then it picks, and then it has to succeed, it must just succeed. No, you have to try something. And if you try something earlier, the better, because now you'll be able to perfect on it. So that's why the notion of our youths believing that I am only able to experiment something or try a business idea after I exit college, that is what is killing our economy. Because as you are in college, you should be running something. I don't think there is a problem running something outside when you are in school. It also questions our institutions, how they have been crafted to operate. You realize, for example, you are a graduate, you are maybe training to be a teacher, for example. A teacher is locked in a university for 4 years. Just moving from one lecture hall to the other. Instead, our institutions should also be having these programs that as you are pursuing your degree, you should also be working. It should be running concurrently with working. Because I don't see why we should not have programs that a graduate teacher should be having sessions to teach outside the universities and earn a living, earn some small money that can keep them through. So as they exit the universities, they already prepared.
Yeah, ni kitu ambacho wamekuwa wakifanya.
Amezoea. Even to the guys in IT field, agriculture, and other areas. If we can do that all round, then we can have a vibrant youth who have learned their power and can make a breakthrough in everything that we want to do.
Ni makala ya 10 ya Voices Unchained, Enhancing Young Voices Beyond News Headlines. Zungumza nasi kupitia nambari ya simu ya 0788200145 kwa sababu unaona kuna swali ambayo linaulizwa hapa na tulikuwa tunaelekea pale. Anaitwa nani huyu? Anthony akiwa maeneo ya Bull anasema, Makolo, how can the community be involved in such activities? Okay, actually nilikuwa naelekea pale. Phyllis, wakati ambapo when you're talking about social entrepreneurship, number one consideration is the community. One, how are we benefiting the community? How is the community involved? Community na benefit aje? How do you intend to change to positively change the community? So wakati ambapo when we are creating such entrepreneurial activities, wakati tuna create such opportunities, how important is it kuhakikisha kwamba the community feels involved, and how can we involve the community so that they don't feel left out?
That's a good question. We cannot speak about social entrepreneurship without mentioning the community, because a social entrepreneur is somebody who is solving a problem in the community. And the reason why, number one, the reason why we need to involve the community is the longevity of the problem, the longevity of the solution. For example, I have identified an area maybe in Kibiko, and I want to do agriculture there. Agriculture is one type of social entrepreneurship. And I don't involve the community. First of all, the community do not feel like they're part of that project because they're not involved, and it's in their community. And second of all, how long is that project going to last? Because before we implement a project, we need to look at the sustainability of the project. We don't want to do a project and 3 months down the line, it's history. So when we involve the community, we give them the opportunity to have a power of decision making. We want the community to be part of the project. For example, when we do tree planting initiatives, we make sure we involve the community, because when we do tree planting initiatives in every county in Kenya, if I go and plant a tree in Kisumu and I live in Kajiado North, the person who is going to take care of that tree to maturity is the person who is living in Kisumu. But if I just carry my group and we go plant trees in Kisumu and we return back to Kajiado, the chances of that tree growing to maturity are so much reduced. But when I involve the community, I make sure they're part of this project. I make sure the community members are involved in planting trees and even naming the trees. These people are going to take care of these trees because there's that sense of ownership. They feel like they're part of the project. So involving the community, number one, is important because of we're giving the community the power of decision making. We're also giving them a sense of ownership whereby they feel like this project is ours, so they're giving their all. Also, they're going to take care of the project, whatever it is, whether it's social entrepreneurship in healthcare, whether it's a clinic. They feel like this is one of our own and they're going to be part of it. So it's very important to involve the community. And also, when we involve the community, we also improve access to resources. I know a social entrepreneurship who went down to Oloshobor and they set up a borehole for water. Initially, they did it because they wanted to do like a personal business of agriculture, wapande vitungu and everything. But when they started involving the community, everyone became part of the project. Everyone started having access to this borehole and access to clean water. And it transformed the whole community. So making a community part of projects is very central to ensuring sustainability and longevity of projects.
Thank you. Jeff, wakati pia when we are trying to reach the community, kuna kitu ambacho it's not utilized enough. That's social media. Unapata social media, though it's a very powerful tool. Kwa mfano siku hizi in TikTok, wakati ambapo una browse TikTok, you get everything. Wakati uko pale kwenye X, you get everything. I was surprised that siku hizi most people even don't depend on mainstream media. Wakati uko na ile inaitwaje, uko na ile X yako, umepata kila kitu, the news, what's trending and everything. Wakati una TikTok pale, unajua everything that's going on. You have everything at your fingertips. But I think wakati tunazungumzia social entrepreneurship is something that has not been really met, ama has not been really utilized. How do you think that issue kama vile healthcare, vitu kama vile agriculture, tunasema kwamba vijana wanafaa ku major in agriculture, vitu kama, do you think that there are so many things that we can utilize by technology kuhakikisha kwamba one, what we are doing create impact kwa society, and two, we can also use those social media platforms even to create education to the youth and also to the community?
Social media is a very important tool, but if you find the mentality that is outside there, for example, you get a young person and you give them a laptop, what clicks in their mind first is watching movie, doing some entertainment or something like that. But I think they should get to, as an IT professional, I would encourage our youth to ensure that all these platforms that are available, we can use them constructively to ensure that as a young lady, as a young person, you want to post something on TikTok. If we can have quite a number of projects, like for example, you've done something in agriculture and you go capture it well, how you did it, and then you post it to identify yourself with that. I think that would escalate and get to encourage more number of youths to do things which are positive. We need to fight the notion of getting to misuse the social media. That we purely think it is it can only be utilized for entertainment and nothing else.
Kienda kule TikTok live.
Yes. So they really I think that culture needs to be, at least the youth should understand. And for them to do that, they must have some people they call role models, right? So if they can have quite a number of people who are doing constructive things in economy and posting such things, then the youth should try to emulate them, and then eventually we will have a breakthrough in that aspect. But again, social media can play a very important role in marketing what we do. As a youth, you may be a young person in Kajiado trying to irrigate your small farm, trying to make some training in IT and all of that thing. Then you do post it online. Then you can have a breakthrough as early as possible, as opposed to doing the traditional things that the youth tend to engage in on social media.
Phyllis, tukisalia tu pale kwa social media, how important is documenting of your activities? For example, kwa mfano wakati ambapo you have activities, labda wewe ni a social entrepreneur, umeanzisha a community based organization ambayo it's solving a problem. How important is documenting of these activities? Kwa sababu unapata watu umefanya vitu tu. Yes, you have a very good organization, lakini nafika mtu anakuuliza, what do you do? Hata huwezi explain what you do. How important is it documenting them, having these photos, videos, having a website or something written up? How important are they?
Extremely important. Because one of the challenges I had when I started my organization was getting access to funding. And I was writing proposals, writing applications, and one thing that was kept repeating itself in applications was provide a link to your social media, provide a link to your website. Have you done previous work like this before? Upload photos.
No.
So I found out that I was missing in a lot of opportunities because of lacking a social media presence or just not documenting the work that we were doing. So I started, when we do a project, I started taking pictures with my phone because you realize you like to make excuses. Oh, I don't have a camera.
Yeah.
I don't have like a whole podcast setup. I can't start a podcast. So I just started taking pictures with my phone, taking videos with my phone, and I started uploading them I started an Instagram page. I also started a LinkedIn page. I started a website and started uploading these photos, telling stories of the work that we were doing. And after I started doing that, I realized I started getting positive feedback from donors. And because of that, the first funding I got was around $2,000 based on the work that we had done previously, and all I had to do was upload photos. So it's very important to document the work that you're doing, even if you don't have an organization of your own. Make sure when someone invites you for a project, take action pictures. Take a picture while you're cleaning maybe the town, take a picture while you're planting a tree. and upload it. At the end of the day, if you're a social entrepreneur and you want to create, you want to keep creating change, people are going to want to see what you're doing, and it's important for you to have a record of that. Another thing is, my colleague mentioned about the power of social media. Most of us do aimless scrolling. Unajipata umespend 3 hours on Instagram, ulikuwa unaangalia tu videos of God knows what.
Mbona unaniattack?
Yeah. So uko tu Instagram, uko tu pale X, unapost ufala tu, na time inasonga.
Yeah.
So one thing that has really empowered me and helped me reach where I am today is how I use social media. You find that donors and people who are willing to support youth, they are posting opportunities on social media. You'll find pages like Opportunities for Youth, or a page like Funds for NGOs, or Opportunities for Youth in the Global South. There's so many pages who are constantly posting opportunities every day. So when I logging into my Instagram, when I logging into my LinkedIn or X, the first thing I check, what opportunities are there today? And before I even start do endless scrolling, I check the opportunities. If I am eligible, I write it down. The next thing I'm working on is applying for that opportunity. And that is what has helped us do the projects that we have been doing as Greening Culture Foundation. That is why we have been able to plant over 20,000 trees in Kajiado County. And it's because we're constantly looking for these opportunities on social media. We're constantly uploading the work that we're doing. And funders are saying this, and they want to support people who are working, not people who are just talking about doing things. So just to emphasize on documenting on the work that you're doing, use social media to your advantage. Don't be the kind of person who is always posting memes, liking dancing videos and that. You can do that. But are you like, what you give, you get what you give, you get what you give. If you direct your energy to watching videos, for example, what is that going to give you? So just make sure you're investing your time in something that is going to give you returns. So I invest my time in looking for the opportunity, because I know if I write a proposal here, there's an opportunity, there's a chance for me to get a donation from someone from wherever they are. So use social media appropriately. Use your phone. You don't need a fancy camera. Just use your phone to take those documentation. Yeah, thank you.
Producer wangu Kevin Keitany, natumai umeweza kusikia jamani, tutumie. Jeff, maybe if you have anything to add, especially on the social media part na documenting.
Maybe to weigh in on the funding. I want to say that there is a belief that there is always a donor outside there to come and fund what you want to do. But as on a serious note, I want to tell the youth that it is very easy for you to get a donor to fund what you are doing if already you are organized and you have demonstrated that you are able to do something. For example, I do not see the need for the youths to wait too long, not to believe in themselves. For example, if I can give you an example of what I do outside there with some of my friends, we are around 10 people. We started some organization on 2017, and we meet on a monthly basis, discussing and brainstorming on business ideas and all that, doing contributions and all that. And what we needed was just leadership. Youths need leadership skills to succeed. If you can identify you can identify with a few friends, let's say 5, 7, 10, then you chart your own path. You start collecting small money for yourselves, discussing business ideas as a group, then eventually you will have somewhere to start from. Then when now you approach for a donor to support a brilliant idea that you have, it will easily succeed. But I discourage the idea of sitting back and waiting for something to fall from somewhere to make things move. So the youths must regain their power and ensure that they make the important decisions at appropriate time in their lives.
Na 0788200145 ama pia unaweza tupata kupitia mitandao ya kijamii @RadioDomus.fm, kwenye Facebook, kwenye X na kwenye Instagram, ambapo unaweza kuchangia mjadala huu zaidi. Ama kumbuka naweza kuzungumza nao Jeff ambao ni an IT specialist na ni kiongozi wa vijana na pia ni mwanaharakati wa kisiasa, na pia naweza kuzungumza naye Phyllis Mambo ambaye she is a social entrepreneur and environmentalist and an educator, youth leader, na pia ni mkurugenzi wa shirika la kimazingira la Greening Kwetu Foundation. Ananiambia they've planted almost 20,000 trees jamani, Kajiado North. Wewe umepanda ngapi? Anyway, tukisonga mbele, many youth say it's common knowledge that there are so many barriers. As much as we're encouraging the youth to start there are so many barriers that prevent the youth from moving into from doing what they want to do. Maybe the youth lack of capital, ile kuna inequality, unataka kuapply kazi unaambiwa 10 years experience ama unaambiwa 24 years experience na uko na miaka 19. There's so many barriers ambazo zinawazuia vijana kufanya nini, from meeting what they want to do ama from doing what they want to do. Jeff, wakati una interact na vijana, what are some of these barriers?
The youths really suffer a lot because you as you know it, people come from different backgrounds. You will find a youth who is a total orphan and other things like that. So they really have serious barriers ranging from financial and other things. But as things stand, what will make us as a youth break these barriers is knowing where we are heading to and making an informed decision as early as possible. You remember I told you what the graduates suffer from. They suffer from the green pasture mentality. You move from station X to station Y, and when reaching station Y you realize it is even worse than station X. So what we need to do as a youth, and that one I'm saying on a serious note, the youths need to sit down. There is no single youth in this country who finds himself hanging out alone. You must have some people you are comfortable with. And what you now need as that group, you need just leadership. Once you have identified yourselves, you need to have how you want to walk through this journey to achieve what you want. Like for example, you may find youths who are doing the boda thing. They do boda riding and they collect some small money then immediately they discover that their numbers, the power lies in their numbers and the leadership that they can have towards charting their path to their destination. Then that will begin, that is actually a first stone to enable them break the barrier that is limiting them from achieving what they want. Actually, most of our youth are not challenged in terms of knowledge. They are exposed. They are properly socialized. They are people who are okay in terms of reasoning. I sit most of the time with the youth. And if you try to get even their perspective, how they would want their thing to go, they are brilliant. But failure to realize that the power lies in their numbers, and what they need is just a tip of leadership to ensure that they can come up together and do something. That's the only thing that is left. And then from there, they will be able to access, be it funding or from well-wishers and other things.
Phyllis, when you are starting maybe your organization, ama pia wakati wewe tu ulikuwa kijana kabla hata you come up with that idea, I know there are so many barriers that you met. Hata wakati umetengeneza organization, najua kuna wakati ulienda kugonga milango, unagonga afisi unaambiwa kuja baadaye. How can we break these barriers? Kwa sababu there are so many things ambazo zinazuia the youth from meeting what they want.
One thing that is very common and a big problem that facing youth is lack of funds. Ukipatana na youth yote kwa barabara umuulize, what are some of the problems that youth face in business? Lack of capital.
Hiyo ni point number 1.
Ya kwanza. And then utapata pia youth, we like to sit in our problems. Utapata kijana ameketi pale anasema hii gava ya Ruto manze, hii gava jo sijui nini, complain tu ndio tunapenda. But finding solutions. Before I started my organization, I was just like any ordinary Kenyan youth. I didn't have an income. I was just confused. What do I do? What do I do? But one thing that has been like very easy for me and allowed me to overcome my barrier is networking. Make sure you know enough people on your contact list. At the end of the day, if Jeff is selling shoes and Makolo is selling t-shirts, I'm going to buy from someone who I know. People like to do business with people they know. So I'm going to buy from someone I know. So when you go to these events, whether you, because they're idol, ukisikia Olelenko amekamgong, uko. Ukisikia kuna sijui bash wapi, uko. When you go to these places, who do you talk to? What? Tell them what you do. Introduce yourself. Tell them what you need. So network with people. At the end of the day, God blesses us through people. It doesn't use a vacuum. Unajua nani. So make sure you have enough contacts such that nikipost opportunity umeona because unanijua. Make sure you network with as many people as possible, because social networking is what builds you. You get opportunities from people you know. You get like job opportunities even because you went to Radio Domas, you met Phyllis, you exchange contacts. The next time I hear an opportunity, I'll be the first person to mention you. So I would say networking. Number 2, going back to social media, leveraging social media. I just had to stumble on one opportunity that changed my life. I applied for a fellowship, I was accepted, and that's where my social entrepreneurship journey took off. So pale kwa social media, make sure unaangalia pages zenye zinaweza kusaidia. Ukienda pale uangalie, one page I can mention is called Opportunities for Youth. They have pages on Instagram, Facebook, you name it. So angalia zile opportunities na apply. Sometimes you're only one step away, like one opportunity away from your dream. So explore that. Siku hizi kila kitu ni mtandao. So if you're not online, we umesahaulika.
Naam.
Siwezi kutumia message asubuhi, wewe una reply your message 6 PM ati ukuwa online. By the time una reply your message, wasiwa share reply your message na waka apply for that opportunity. I remember I was doing a project one time and I posted on my status that I was looking for a photographer for a project. And then of course I went with a photographer who was quick to respond na tukaelewana. But again I stopped pursuing that because nilipata huyo photographer. But then later on when I came back online, I was seeing people reply to my status 4-5 hours later ati hey, opportunity ni aje. So because you're not online, you're missing out on opportunities. You are supposed to be like on alert all the time. So lack of access to the internet, and I'm also saying this because people who want to do social entrepreneurship. What gap is there? Okay, vijana hawawezi access internet. How can I come in and provide internet to this youth? Does that mean starting an internet cafe, for example, where I can introduce affordable browsing charges?
Wi-Fi places.
Yeah. Kuna mahali inaweza ika wifi ni hakikishe vijana wanaweza kaa pale comfortably and they're doing they're having productive conversations, and when they meet up they can actually do something. So those are some of the gaps that we need to fill. Like you said, there's so many gaps, but there are no opportunities there. So look around, ni shida gani vijana wanapitia? How can you come in and solve them? Also, don't sit in your problems. Talk to someone, network with people, look for opportunities online. That's what I can say.
Wakati ambapo pia tunazungumzia one of the things is that how resilient is are our communities, how resilient are our youths. Kwa mfano, yes, we're facing so many problems. Wakati ambapo tunasema uchumi ni mbaya, kuna mtu mahali amefufua V8 sasa hivi as you're saying that uchumi ni mbaya. So how can the youth take this opportunity kuhakikisha kwamba yes, the economy is but at least I have something. For example, I have a skill that I'm monetizing. How can we make our youth resilient, Jeff?
The youths have to keep working hard and not giving up. There is one thing that is coming out strongly among our youth is that they tend to believe that their problems might be solved by some other quarters, like the politicians and other people. That is not true. A politician is one guy who would do things to create a perception, not to solve a problem permanently. So I would say that acknowledging the fact that economy is challenging, then the youth must step up and recognize the fact that this economy is challenging us, and we have to readjust and to try everything possible to make sure that we meet our daily needs, and also we start a few things that can keep us going as we work towards solving the bigger problem, that is getting ourselves established to have businesses and gainful employment that we would desire. But sitting back, resorting to doing drugs and doing maybe getting into do malicious things around is not solving our problem even an inch. So we need just to acknowledge the fact that the economy is challenging us. Then we have to do the small things that can keep us going as we work towards solving a bigger problem.
Just on the same Phyllis, one of the things pia ni kwamba most of the youth ama most of these organizations run by the youth, they don't stand that test of time. How can we come up with the need that can beat, or how can we come up with maybe a platform ama an opportunity, ama how can we make our institutions or our organizations in a way that we can beat this test of time? Kwa sababu unapata challenge inakuja, COVID inakuja, imemaliza, something comes, economy inakuwa ngumu, and then everyone leaves. How can we build an organization or an institution that runs and that can sustain this test?
Thank you for that question. There's a saying that says, when you go alone, you'll go fast.
Faster.
When you go in a group or together, you'll go far.
No.
So one thing we can do to make these youth organizations beat the test of time is hold our hands together. We can form an alliance of organizations. We have Green Inkwetu Foundation. We have Mazingira Pamoja Initiative. We have like Bike is Best Kenya Enterprise. Let's form an alliance of organization in such a way that we meet every month. And when we meet, we make sure that we sit and brainstorm ideas how can we work together in such a way that we do like a joint project, number one. We can do a joint project. We can also make sure we are keeping each other accountable. Whenever I do a project, I make sure I involve all these organizations in my alliance, such that when we plant 500 trees, Mazingira Pamoja Initiative has also planted 500. Bike is Best Kenya has also planted 500. So the alliance of organizations and keeping each other accountable is going to make us go far. At the end of the day, one thing you realize about being an entrepreneur, it's a very difficult journey, and it also gets into your head. So when things are not working out, you might feel like giving up very quickly. But when I have a team and things are not working very well on my side, I can talk to a fellow entrepreneur who is going through something that I am going through, someone who can understand me and talk me out of giving up. So I would say one major thing is alliance of organizations. Let's come together as organizations. Let's work together. Let's keep each other accountable, and we're going to go far.
Just remaining on the same, unapata vijana wengi, most of the youth ama youth led organization, kuna kuanga na ile ubinafsi ama ile sijui niite wivu ama niite aje, the selfishness. Unapata okay, mimi nataka I'm doing this, but niki invite Phyllis is very articulate, atakuja steal the limelight. Do you think we should do more training, especially on the youth that are running such things? Waambie you need to work together, you need to this collaboration, kwa sababu siku moja venye umesema tu, siku moja organization yako itakuwa inahitaji ama itakuwa inapitia mambo mengi ama itakuwa inapitia magumu. You need Jeff. Tutahitaji Jeff, mwambie hey Jeff, my organization is doing this and this, I need this. Maybe Jeff will come through. Also wakati wewe kama Phyllis unaanzisha organization, yes you have a team, lakini unataka ni mimi ndio najulikana wakati I'm the face of greening kwetu. Do you think it's important that when you are starting such an organization you form a team around you that hata we can go somewhere hata wajui nani ndio the leader of this group?
Yeah, to answer your question, it's true. You find that youth organizations as work pamoja because I feel like maybe I have $1,000. Niki invite Jeff na invite Makolo, I will have to split this $1,000. So there's that. So another thing you need to learn is you cannot work with everyone. Just because someone is a social entrepreneur like you are and they're working in the environmental sector that you are, doesn't mean automatically you're going to work together. I've experienced the same in such a way that I was working with a group of people. They were getting exposed to opportunities and even getting funding from those opportunities, but they were not sharing that with me. So, but one thing about me is I work for myself. I don't wait for Makolo to give me a lead to access funding. I will work until what I'm working on works. So you realize that not everyone is going to be on your team. Another thing, you realize when you work with people who have passion, you don't really to constantly remind them that this is how we're doing, this is how you're working. Like, for example, if we have a project and someone from Greening Kwetu Foundation needs to speak, I did not need to be the person who speaks all the time. So when you're picking your team behind you, pick team kulingana na strengths zao. I want Lucy on my team because she's a very good public speaker. I want Mike on my team because they write very good proposals. So when you're building a team around you, don't pick your brother and your friend because ni jirani yangu. Pick people according to the strengths. That's one thing I learned, because when I started my organization, I was looking for people who were close to me. I recruited my brother, I recruited my neighbor, some very close friends that I had, and I wasn't getting what I wanted to get from them because I did not pick them based on their strengths or their capabilities. So I delegate a task to you and you're unable to deliver because you're just you don't have any competence. But now when I started speaking to people and telling them, okay, you can join us, but what are you bringing? It's not about what you're going to get from the foundation. What are you bringing? Yes, you're part of the foundation. What have you done for the past 3 months? As you can say, I have been working. I deserve to reap the benefits. Like we mentioned before, youth, we're so much focused on quick rewards. You just join an organization, you attended one project activity, now you're talking about being compensated. It doesn't work like that. So you want people who are working and you're seeing them work. And at the end of the day, I'm the kind of leader who is for everyone. If I say Makolo is working, if I say Mike is working, at the end of the day, I know when we get the benefits, these are the wheels that have been keeping our vehicle running. So choose people according to their strengths. Just don't choose people because ni bradako, they're my friends. And also, youth, let's work. Let's not wait to be told. One thing I will not do is spend all my days writing proposals, trying to reach out to donors, speaking in the field to leaders, coming up to shows like this to make sure I'm amplifying the presence and the presence of Growing Kwetu, and then there's someone down there who think they need to benefit or be given the limelight just because they're part of the organization and they're not working. So I want to see youth working hard. I want to see passion. I want to see people who are driven for change, such that when we do projects, we're doing them and I'm expecting 100% from you, you're expecting 100% from me. At the end of the day, donors reward people who are working. So awezi, like, before upate maziwa kwa ngombe, lazima ulishe ile ngombe. Asante.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, my directors wananiambia kwamba we can have this discussion for the whole day. Lakini just to summarize, Jeff, just your parting shot on this, kwa sababu when you say we continue speaking, tutazungumza siku nzima.
Okay, asante sana Makolo. I would just weigh in on what my colleague was saying, that when we talk about the power of the youth and how they get to walk the long journey, you see, you cannot pick people you met yesterday. You must have been either somewhere before, maybe you are learning together, or maybe you are coming from the same estate, same community. So there are people these are people whom you know very well. And while dividing roles, automatically even your colleagues will tell you that Jeff is good in strategy. My colleague here is good in management, and so on and so on and so on. So once we have that leadership in place, the rest will benefit from the leadership that is provided. And then the numbers now will play the important role of propelling this group to succeed in anything that they want to achieve. That is my take.
Maybe just to finalize anything, just anything that unaweza malizia about what we've spoken about today.
Okay, I think we are actually working on a very important topic, Makolo. Our youths are supposed to be encouraged wherever they are. Our parents at home and everywhere they are, they should try to encourage our youth, support them fully in everything that they want to do, so that we can have a stable society where everyone feels comfortable.
Phyllis, your parting shot about today's discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for having me being part of this discussion. Social entrepreneurship is what is going to make us move out of poverty, move out of our problems. And I just want to tell you, you can get started from where you are. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to have a whole team in place. You don't need to have a funder waiting to fund a project. Just start where you are. Get a few friends who you know you can work together with and start from there. You just need to get to. One of them can be chairman, another can be treasurer, and another can be secretary. Begin from there, start with the brainstorming, and see what problems are there in your community you can solve. Because when you get into social entrepreneurship, you're exposing yourself to so many things. You're exposing yourself to leadership development. You're exposing yourself to problem-solving skills. Because when you want to solve these problems in your community, you're going to be forced to think outside the box. And being in social entrepreneurship, you're going to have a sense of purpose. Instead of being that kind of person who is always grumpy and complaining about the government, there's the government, that, you're going to take charge of your life and be the captain of your ship. So you're going to have a sense of purpose in creating change. And that alone is going to change your mindset. And at the end of the day, your life is your mindset. So how you think is what you have in your head upstairs is what is going to reflect in your life. So let's take charge. Let's not waiting for our leaders to solve our problems. That is one. I would also say, let's hold hands. You alone cannot do it. Let's bring our friends on board. Let's bring our family on board and work together towards making our lives and our environment better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much, Phyllis, for coming through. Msikilizaji, shukran sana kwa kuweza kujumuika nasi. Nimeona rafa zimekuwa nyingi, lakini most of them tulikuwa tunazitackle through the topic. Nambari yetu ya simu ni 0788200145. Iwapo una swali lolote ama ungependa kuchangia mjadala huu, kuendelea kuchangia mjadala huu, ama labda kuna kiongozi ama kuna mtu ambaye ungependa pia tuwe naye kwenye makala ya Voices Unchained, basi utaweza kututumia kupitia nambari yetu ya simu. Kumbuka makala haya ya 10 ya Voices Unchained itakuwa kwenye mitandao yetu ya kijamii kuanzia wiki ijayo @RadioDomasFM, kwenye Facebook, kwenye X na kwenye Instagram, ambako unaweza pata unaweza pata makala haya. Unaweza tuma your feedback, na iwapo pia una maswali unaweza kutuma kuhusu ama unaweza kuchangia kuhusu mada hiyo. Kwa hivyo shukran sana to everyone that has made this possible. Bye bye. Let's meet next Thursday ndani ya Voices Unchained.